In this video, the new Horus Heresy, Age of Darkness. So if you've been paying attention to Games Workshop since about late March, they've announced a new version of Horus Heresy. They had a big cool animation thing at the big preview event at Adepticon. I saw it there. It was pretty cool, I'm not going to lie. And they were talking about all the new stuff that's going to be coming out, and there was a lot of speculation and whatnot. And then they started showing the stuff that was going to be in the box, and people were talking and speculating about, like, well, is it really, and this and that, and is this a leak, and all that kind of stuff. And then Warhammer Fest, and they showed it off finally, and even mentioned the price. And frankly, I was stunned because this is a big, heavy box full of stuff, and just right up front, it's I think $299 or at least $300, but I think it's $299 American, which is a whole lot of stuff for $300, especially when the new Necromunda Ash Wastes box came out 2 months ago, and that was also $300. Not nearly as much stuff as in this box. This is the new Warhammer Horus Heresy Age of Darkness box. There are 40 regular Space Marines. They're not exactly tactical Marines. For those of you that are relatively new to all of this, and that's who I'm trying to talk to here, you folks who are very familiar with Heresy or probably already got yours pre-ordered or whatever, but what this box is this is like Warhammer 30,000. So this is 10,000 years before the standard stuff going on. The Emperor has been kind of struck down, but not exactly. Horus, who is his favorite son, Primarch, whatever, he's been corrupted. There were like 18 legions, 9 of them went bad, 9 of them stayed good. Fighting. Mostly Space Marine on Space Marine, which I don't know, I kind of like for some reason. But anyway, I've not actually ever played Horus Heresy. The Horus Heresy rules are basically 7th edition 40k, which was my least favorite version of 40k ever, so that sort of kept me away. The new version, from what I understand, and there's a big, thick hardcover book in this box as well, it's got some changes, some tweaks a little bit here and there, but it's still basically kind of 7th edition 40k. So, nonetheless, 40 Space Marines in here. I put together and painted one of them, did a quick paint job yesterday. I built it yesterday, primed it, painted it this morning. It's been a bit of a blur. Anyway, it's kind of a nice model. I don't know that I want to put together 40 of them because they got lots of little parts, like their shoulder pad, the bumpy one, this side actually. It's actually 2 parts. You have to put it together like it's not just one shoulder pad like every other shoulder pad I've ever seen before. They go together in halvesies, and you have to glue it together. Now, the reason for that is to make it so that the little bumps, I think, will come out of the mold properly. The old spiky shoulder pads, the spikes toward the edge of each side of the shoulder pad always looked weird because they had to be able to slide out of that steel mold. There's no give in a steel mold. So the way that they fixed it is to make them, each one of them, halvesies, and then you glue it and run some sprue goo down the center and try to get rid of the gap, and maybe not. But nonetheless, nice models. I would say they're a little bit taller than a normal old school tactical Marine, but not as tall as a Primaris, so they're kind of in between, which is interesting. Anyway, there's 40 of them in this box. There's a lot in this box, but a lot of plastic. All right, number one, most important thing, plastic whippy sticks. Old school 40K used to come with these. These are technically measuring devices. Somewhere, I don't see any numbers on. I don't know what they're for hitting your friends as far as I can tell. Oh, the numbers are on this side. There you go. I never use these because I know how to use a tape measure. Anyway, they've stopped putting these in stuff, but they put them in here along with the old school templates as well, because this is, if anything, kind of an old school game. Again, 7th edition. 8th edition, we got rid of both of these things. Well, you're still measuring stuff, but we don't need to have templates anymore. There is an instruction book that I've already gone through a little bit of this. This is why yours, when you unpack it, won't look quite the same. There'll be stuff to unwrap and cellophane and whatnot. But anyway, I don't know if any of these rules are kind of weird and goofy as far as the putting together stuff, like the Kill Team was. I just recently did the Kill Team Morok and found some weirdnesses about the way you're supposed to put things together. Pachow, you could check that out if you're interested. But like I said, there's 40 Space Marines in here. There are 10 Cataphractii Terminators, which are old school Horus Heresy plastic Terminators. Horus Heresy plastic tactical marines, not the ones that look quite like this, but the ones of the Betrayal at Kelth, which was an old box like this, but thinner and smaller. There have been plastic Horus Heresy figures around before, and I think Cataphractii Terminators as well. But the majority of the models that you've been buying, if you wanted to play Horus Heresy for years now, have all been Forge World, which means resin, which means a whole host of different ways you got to build stuff. This stuff is all new plastic, which is really interesting. The Cataphractii Terminators are cool. There's 10 of those, 40 Space Marines, as I mentioned. There's also 2 kind of special guys. I don't know if we can get this. I don't know. They've got some customization and things like that. They got big capes. You can use them to build them however you want. Loyalist. Maybe you could use them as the whatever, the bad guys. I forget how they go. The point is that there's no chaos per se. Chaos is what's messing with people. It's what's made the traitor legions. There's the word, I got to it. The traitor legions become traitor legions, and the loyal. But it's not like you see Chaos Space Marines now, where there's spikes everywhere and all that kind of stuff. Basically, the traitors at this point haven't started to kind of like mutate and get weird yet. They're just, usually you kind of paint them a bit grungier. Death Guard was a big one, that kind of stuff. Horus Heresy, the Sons of Horus. Yeah, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, you get 2 cool guys that you can do stuff with. Like, seriously, this is just so much plastic. And this box is deep. I don't know if that helps at all. But beyond the 40 Space Marines, 10 Cataphractii Terminators, 2 special characters that you can kind of customize to some degree, there's also a Contemptor Dreadnought. Contemptor Dreadnought is, again, old school Dreadnought, made in plastic. I don't know if there's been a plastic Contemptor before. He's a big kind of cool looking guy. I don't know, Dreadnought. There's also a Spartan tank, which has never been made in plastic before. That's also in here. There's also the book as well, which is pretty cool. It's a big, like I said, thick hardcover. It's going to take me a while to get to the bottom over here. And it's going to take me even longer to repack this to take it back home. But you can see, I mean, it's just plastic and plastic and plastic for days. Now, what's interesting is I have a suspicion, and I don't know this for sure, I have a suspicion that this is what you call in retail or in business a loss leader. Again, I don't think they're losing money by selling this box for $300. I don't think they're getting the profit that they're used to getting, though, for a box at this price. This is when they first showed this off on the Twitch stream that I was watching for Warhammer Fest. They showed all this stuff and they confirmed all of it from the leaks and from this and the teases and all that kind of jazz. And people in the chat were like $450, $500, all kinds of stuff like that, like guessing at the price. And when they said it was going to be less than $300, and $299 is less than $300, it's true. People were stunned, including this guy. I was sure that it was going to be at least $400. So I feel like they are probably trying to, again, loss leader. This is to get people into the Horus Heresy hobby as well. I worked at a camera store back in the early 90s when I was in college, and we sold Polaroid cameras, and they were surprisingly cheap. But the film wasn't, and that was the point. They're trying to get you to buy the camera so you will buy the film because that's where they make their money. Xbox, PlayStation, same thing. When those machines first come out, they're frequently selling them at a loss. Every single one they sell, they lose a little bit of money, but they know they're going to get you to buy the games. And over time, at least with the consoles, they will find new efficiencies and manufacturing things that will actually start to make it so that they are profitable, but really the profit's coming from the other stuff. Now, we've been seeing new things being showed off for Horus Heresy since this was, first showed off. One of the things actually today was this big, huge, beefy Leviathan, I think, type of Dreadnought. And he's going to be plastic. There's a bunch of other new plastic things that are showing off. New plastic tanks, new plastic, walkers, all this stuff. And those are going to be, I think, a little bit more expensive. Those are probably going to be where the prices might get a little bit higher than you might expect. We'll see. I do know that they also are releasing, along with this box, 2 extra books, one for the traders, one for the loyalists. And it's basically like a codex, right? So it's a codex, but instead of a codex for each legion, it is just like, here's all the good guys, here's all the bad guys. And they're big, thick books, and they're $70 each. So, that's pretty, again, it's a big, thick book. It's full colored. They're gorgeous. It's great. But just understand that just because this is cheap doesn't mean that the rest of the stuff will be as well. All right, so I finally got to the bottom of the box. There is a lot of plastic, like I said, and there's a big plastic or big cardboard thing here to keep the plastic from ripping up the stuff inside. And the stuff inside is some ads and some reference sheets. These are the old school Defender's weapon skill versus kind of like, again, like, where you've got right now, if my strength is bigger than your toughness, then I'm hitting you on 3s. If they're equal, it's 4s. If my strength is worse than your toughness, I'm hitting you on 5s. That's not the way it used to be. It used to go from 2 all the way to 6, and there was a bunch of... And so you'll see that in here. You need the reference card for that. Lastly, then, of course, there is the book. There's also dice in here, including a scatter die. There's also a bunch of bases. There's also transfers. That kind of Blood Angels looking guy that I painted up, I wanted to put a Blood Angels look, but there's only Sons of Horus and Imperial Fists in the box as far as transfers are concerned. So if you want to go something different, you're going to have to find transfers someplace else. This is a big, thick, chunky book, Age of Darkness rulebook. I mean, it's a thick one. If we can get to focus here, it's a thick book. It's all full color. Obviously, GW doesn't make nothing that's not full color, full of all kinds of pictures and artwork and all kinds of cool stuff like that. It's very, 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 very in-depth, but it's not the only book you're going to need. Like I said, there's also a Loyalist kind of codex army booky thing, and also one for the traders. So if you wanted to start playing, you're also going to need one of those books. And this force is not designed, I don't think, to be... Even though it says it's for 2 players on the back of the box, I don't think this is designed so that you go, oh, let's play a game and you take 20 and I'll take 20, and then you take 5 of the Terminators and I take 5, and then you get the tank and I guess I get the Contemptor Dreadnought. I feel like people who are going to buy this are going to buy it for their army and then play against somebody else's army. It is technically 2-player, but yeah, I don't know. It's an amazing package. It really is. Just the amount of stuff, the very cool sculpts, all the stuff that's in here this is a different game than 40K though. Again, if you're new to the hobby, I get questions from people all the time asking me stuff that I think would be things that people would get, but I forget that I've been doing this for a long time. So there's no stupid questions completely. This is a different game than 40K. It's a completely different edition. It's not compatible with 40K. You don't bring your Tyranids in and fight against. It's just not that done. It's all Space Marines versus Space Marines for the most part. At some point, I think the Eldar get in there and all that kind of stuff. I've read some of the Horus Heresy Black Library novels, predominantly the early ones that are all Dan Abnett, but I don't know a ton about it. But I do know that this is a different game than 40K. You could still use some of these models, especially like the regular, tactical Marines or whatever. You could use some of those in your 40K stuff. They were just wearing really old, relic armor or something like that. You could do that kind of stuff if you want to down the road. I don't know that I would buy this box just to do that, but they will be selling a lot of these parts separately as well. This package, $300, like I said, is pretty astounding. It will be interesting to see what the prices of the other things are going to be down the road. So we'll be looking at that. But until we know that, we don't know much more. Again, if you are interested in getting into this is probably not a box you split necessarily with people. I don't know. You pretty much buy this, and then you've got yourself a good portion of an army, and then as they start to release some more pieces, you add those in, and there you go. Or if you're already a Horus Heresy player, A, you already know all of this, but B, this is a great way to add a bunch of new stuff made in plastic and not resin to your army. So let me know in the comments down below, are you getting this box, or are you looking forward to them taking some other pieces from the Horus Heresy line that have been predominantly made in resin and turning them into plastic? Like I said, we know some of those things, but are you looking forward to some other ones? Let me know in the comments down below. If this was helpful in any way, give me a like. I appreciate it. It helps the channel. You can do that down below, and subscribe if you haven't. I'm interested in maybe painting up the tank as well in here. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I've talked to some folks who've already done it and said that they really enjoyed it. So maybe you'll see that on Instagram or something like that. But I don't know if I'm going to build up. I'm certainly not going to build an army because I'm not into army games, but I might try to do some kill team with some of these models. Thanks for watching.